Well, alright. Hello, folks. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Look what's in front of us again, the iniBuilds Airbus A300-600R. Sitting here at Boston Logan International Airport in Boston, Massachusetts, United States, with shuttle service, Eastern Airlines shuttle service, heading from Boston to LaGuardia in New York. It is currently a little snowy right now in Boston. It is snowy in my neck of the woods as well. We are flying real-world weather, so no need to worry. However, I do need to use the restroom because I did not before we started, so I'm just going to put this up right here and just use the restroom really quick. So don't go anywhere, folks. I will be right back. Sorry. Alright, I have returned. Sorry about that. I didn't use the restroom before starting the stream, so that's my fault. Morning, Mama. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Alright, we'll give maybe a few more minutes to see if people will start floating in here. We are in Boston right now with the A300. You can see it's snowing a little bit here, just like it's snowing here. Just a light sprinkle of snow showers, which is what we are dealing with currently. So hopefully the weather won't be too surprising. When we get to New York, the visibility will probably be a little bad, but no big deal. I'm sure we can perfectly manage and be able to get the airplane to New York and then back to Boston. I'm pretty confident. Pretty confident, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually pretty cool that Eastern Airlines used an airplane as big as the A300 for this shuttle service back in the day. And even, I believe we have 263 passengers on this flight today on our way to LaGuardia. So we'll see exactly how many passengers we get on the way back. But 263 on the way there, which is almost full capacity for the A300, which is kind of cool. So at least we're following right along with how densely populated these routes were back in the day, to where they'd actually need to use something like the A300 for those routes to, you know, keep up with the demand. So I really like it, and ignore the fact that we're sitting at an American Airlines gate as well. That's good old GSX being GSX, and I just haven't bothered to download the GSX profile for Boston Logan, just because I don't quite understand how to use the profiles with GSX and everything like that. So that tends to get a bit wonky for me, so sometimes I just won't even try. But we're about 10 minutes into the stream already, so what do you say we hop inside the airplane and get everything going? We may as well. People, I'm sure, will filter in as time goes on. But here we are inside the lovely A300, and oh boy, we're getting that screen glitch nonsense again. Which I found out the best way to fix that is just simply go into your graphics settings and change a setting, hit apply and save. And as far as I heard, that usually fixes it, which it did. There you go, look at that. Groovy. Okay, now that that's all fixed and it's not a glitchy mess, let's head up over here to the overhead panel, and we will first start by getting our batteries on. So we'll go batteries 1, 2, and 3. There we go. We can hear the airplane starting to come to life. While we are waiting for everything to come to life there, we'll get our nav and local lights on. We will get our no smoking sign on, because there's never any smoking on our airplanes. We'll arm the emergency exit light. We will come over here and where's the dome lights? We'll get those on as well to give us a little bit more light, seeming as it's rather dark outside. Everything's looking good now. Let's go ahead and grab external power. External power is now turned on. We'll get galley power on as well. We will get the window heaters on also. We'll get our APU master start switch into the on position. And then we have to come up here and get our aiders turned on as well, which are right here. You can barely see them in the camera view, but we'll get those over to nav, left, right, and center into the nav position. Confirm that they all go into align mode, which they have. Groovy. Okay, just trying to think if there's anything else that we need to do now that the overhead panel is partially taken care of. I don't think so. So the airplane has pretty much half come to life. Next thing we have to do is come over here to our EFB, and we need to grab our flight information. We'll just import that from SimBrief. As you can see here, we have Logan International over to LaGuardia. Remarks for Boston right now, so we have winds coming in from a direction of 060 at 21 knots, so that's pretty crazy. Broken clouds at 800 feet, overcast at 1700, altimeter 2972. It looks like we have some winds that could peak out at 30 knots at some point, but nothing that our airplane can't handle. We should be able to get there rather fine. Visibility here is only 5 nautical miles. Here in LaGuardia, the winds are a little bit less, coming in from a direction of 10 degrees at 11 knots. Visibility is only 2.5 nautical miles. broken clouds at 600, overcast at 1200. So looking like it is going to be a little bit of a visually impaired arrival on both sides of the like departing and arriving. So hopefully we don't have too many problems. I don't think that we will. Let's go down here to the MCDU and let's get a few things taken care of first. First thing is getting in our flight plan. So we want KBOS. Oops. KBOS /KLGA for LaGuardia. We enter that in, we'll see our latitude and longitude has populated. We will click the Align IRS button. We'll come back up to the overhead panel. We will get our IRS over to status. And you see we have 6 minutes on the align time. Also, we'll come over here and bring our source selector to external power, and we'll go battery 3 as well. Alright, now as the IRS starts to align, let's go ahead and get our backup artificial horizon all synced up there and ready to go. Perfect, looking wonderful. And the next thing that we can do is just continue to fill out the rest of our information here. So we'll take a look at our SimBrief OFP. Looks like our alternate is going to be Washington Dulles. Okay. So we'll have to go to Dulles if we need to divert, but I don't think that'll be anything that we need to do, but we need to get that entered in here. So KIAD for our alternate. Don't sink. What are you talking about? Nope, I imagine that's everything testing, right?
Pull up.
It's interesting as to how we are getting these warnings, and I don't know how to turn them off. This is a first. Unless it's just, this is just kind of this thing doing it on its own. Hopefully that'll stop here. Looks like it has just stopped now. That's never done that before. That's interesting. Our average cruise wind is coming in at 245 /27 knots. So that's our average cruise wind, not too terrible there. Our cost index is 100 for this flight, which is absolutely wonderful. Cruising altitude is only 16,000 feet. Seeing as we have such a short flight here, it doesn't make sense to go any higher than that. Farmer, what's going on? This is a good day. Forgot the time. Did I miss the board time? No, you did not miss boarding. Boarding has not commenced yet, so you are perfectly fine. We'll get our flight ID entered in, which is Eastern Airlines 265. There we go. Great. Everything is looking good there. We'll come over and hit the next page, and we will wait and grab our block fuel and everything else that we need. So let's come back over here to our little EFB. Come over to weight and balance. We will update from SimBrief. There we go. You see we have 256 passengers with a load of 55,310 pounds, 28,621 pounds of fuel on board, and plenty of cargo. So we will apply the load to the airplane. Our takeoff weight is 252,063. That's not true. Once we get the fuel on there, we'll be good. 280,008 pounds is what we're using for the fuel, and our block fuel is going to be 28.62. That's our block fuel, and our zero fuel weight is looking like it's going to be 252.56. Excellent. That'll kind of initialize the rest of our trip here. And then, oops, ooh, my goodness. And then we need to grab our 0 fuel weight, CG, which is going to be 28.36. Here we go. Now that we have all of that entered in, that's everything we need to do on the init page. So that's looking nice for us. Another thing that we can do is we can start to get our flight plan all entered in here. So leaving Boston, let's select our SID. We are departing runway 9. Thank God I did not miss your flight. Nope, you are good. We are taking the PATS 7 SID in the PATS transition. There's PATS 7. It looks like PATS is going to automatically be part of that departure. There's PATS right here. That's lovely. From PATS, it looks like we are heading direct to Nelly, and that'll be the only other. That will be the only other waypoint that we are going to have to enter in on our way to LaGuardia before we select our SID. So coming over here, we'll go to LaGuardia, we'll select our star rather, not SID, and then we will choose the HARP 4 via the Valerie transition, but we don't have that option here. Actually, probably because we haven't selected our arrival runway of runway 4. So we'll go ILS runway 4 via, again, the HARP 4, and the transition is going to be Valerie, but we don't have that option here. So we'll choose Greg as that transition. So let's see exactly what we get here. There's Valerie right there. So that's cool that that is already entered in, so we can get rid of this discontinuity because we will be flying direct to Valerie from there. And then there is our arrival. So we do have to, actually, you know what? We don't have to wait anymore. The aiders have aligned enough for us to be able to go through our flight plan here. So let's cycle through everything here. Just make sure nothing is looking amiss. There's nothing strange with our flight plan whatsoever. And there we go. Looks like we are flying right in from there, and there is our go-around. Just in case we do need to do a go-around. What a wacky looking go-around that is, huh? Wow. Okay. So that's interesting. I'm not sure what all of this is all weirded out for. But looks like we'll have to vector ourselves in, because I'm not sure what we did wrong there, but that's all kinds of funky, seeming as it has our top of descent right here. So what is up with all of this? My goodness. We'll see if we can't get rid of some of this. That's fine. Jackie's fine. Wow. So let's get rid of Zared. Because that's screwing everything up. We can get rid of G-Greg as well. Because that looks like that's screwing everything up a little bit. I'm happy with this now. Because we'll fly right over the airport, make a right-hand turn over to Jackie, to Nicole, Veraz, Benning, and then right into our arrival. Okay, I am pretty much good with that. We can clear that discontinuity now as well. Yeah, I'm cool with that. That should work out okay. Flight plan has been checked, so we should be all good to go there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up over top, and we are going to get the APU fired up. And we'll hit start on the APU. We'll get our seatbelt sign turned on before we actually start boarding passengers. So we'll come outside and have a listen. See, the visibility is quite poor here. Well, not exactly the most poor, but the ceiling is very low, so right after departure we will be heading right into the soup There you go. Sounds like the APU is good and fired up. We have the APU available light. So now we will turn on APU bleed. There we go. We have the APU bleed coming to life now. What is going on? Where's our flight deck going? Oh, I mean our jet bridge. Hello? I did not ask for that to go away. Get back over here, darn it. What are you doing, guy? We haven't even loaded our passengers yet. Come on, give us a break. Now that the IRSs have been aligned, we will come up over here as well and get our trims turned on. We need those trims turned on in order to continue along with further cockpit checks here, which includes getting our performance all set. Whoops, wrong button. That includes getting our performance all set. So if we come over here to take off and approach, we need to enter in a couple of figures here. So we need to grab our V1, VR, and V2. So we'll come over here to not weight and balance, performance. We will hit sync, which will put all of our weights, winds, and everything else that we need in there, besides the departure runway, which is runway 9, not for right. And runway 9 is only 7,149 feet. So that is rather short, but long enough to get this airplane out of there, and the airplane is pretty light. So yeah, we have a VR still of 163. It's always 163. Flex 2 temp is going to be 63. So we'll come over here and go flex 2. Choose that as 63, and then our V1 was 153, rotate 163, and V2 163. 153, 163, 163, 153, 163, and then we will come on up over here and get 163 entered in on our speed, because that'll take care of our V2. Sounds like a blizzard out there? Yeah, right. It is windy. There is a lot of wind going on here. We have 163 entered in for V2 now, so that is wonderful. Only thing we are going to do is just change our acceleration altitude to 3,000 feet. Okay, perfect. We're pretty much all done with the MCDU now. Only a few more preliminary things we need to do in here. Well, not preliminary, but a few more things we need to do in here before we continue along. Looks like we need to get our cruising altitude set. We're only going up to 16,000 feet on this very short flight. We need to get our runway heading dialed in for runway 9 here in Boston. And it looks like the runway heading for runway 9 is 092. There we go, we have that all entered in now as well. We'll get our constraints turned on both sides. Next thing we need to do is get our altimeter all set up and ready to go. If we come over here and we look back at our flight, we'll refresh the METAR. See, we're gusting at 30 knots now here in Boston, so windy. It's absolutely windy. Our altimeter, though, is what we need, which is 2970. So we'll go ahead and enter that in here, 2970. And same thing with over here with our backup. We'll get 2970 entered in as well. Clear that master caution, and we'll come down here and clear the door fault as well, because we know it's open. Okay, I do believe that we are pretty much all set to go to push back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a good look outside one more time. Sorry for everybody wearing headphones, but there she is. APU is completely fired up. Let's get everything ready to go for pushback and departure. We will come over here to GSX and we will prepare for pushback. Do I wish to have the de-icing treatment now? We don't have any ice on the airplane, so we are not going to be requesting that.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
And it looks like we are going to be pushing back out and to our right. Pretty simple taxi here. It's nothing too crazy. A little bit of confusing, so it looks like we're going to push back out to our right, get onto taxiway Alpha, follow Alpha all the way down, and take a left onto Echo. And then from Echo, we take a right onto Mike, follow Mike all the way to our runway. So a little confusing of a taxi run, but nothing that we can't handle, I'm sure. So while they are getting everything else ready and set for us, we'll get the rest of our fuel pumps turned on, seeming as we are about to get on out of here. We can bring this over to our position. There we go, looking good there. Okay, Pro Piece won't come on until after we have pushed back and gotten ready to go. We're going to go back and to the right.
Release parking brakes, please.
Yes, before we do that though, there is one thing I just want to make sure, and that is, yep, ground power unit has been untoggled, which is great. Release the parking brakes, we will release that for them. And then we will head up to the overhead panel here. We will get our engine start over to A. That obviously has lowered the pack noise down quite a considerably large amount. We have started pushback here, so we are going to turn number 2. Number 2 start valve is open. We'll come over here and notice N2 rotation. N1 rotation starting to occur as well. Oil pressure is also starting to build slightly. Fuel pressure as well. And then we will engage fuel at 20%. There it goes. I really do hope that iniBuilds, they fix the sound in the flight deck, which is all well and good. I just hope that eventually they'll fix the sound back here for the engine startup to make it a little bit more prominent so we can hear it a little bit more. But it sounds like engine number 2 has come to life completely for us there. Yes, it has. Go ahead and turn engine 1. Engine 1 start valve is open. Come over here and see N2 is rising. N1 is beginning to rise as well. Oil pressure is starting to build slightly for us. Same procedure. 20% N2 will get fuel introduced and head over to the wing. There's 20% heading over to the wing now. And we will set our parking brake for them.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Alright, engine number 1 sounds like it has started. We will head in here to the flight deck. We should hear the engine generator kick in any second. There it goes. So now we can head back up to the overhead. We will bring our ignition over to continuous relight, and then we will get the APU turned off. We no longer need that. APU bleed can come off as well. Beacons were supposed to come on before we started push, but whoops, taxi lights can come on, and then we'll get our probe heats turned on as well. Fasten seatbelt sign is on. Everything is looking good. Nothing, no alarms, bells, or whistles going off for the overhead as far as that is concerned. And we will get our flaps to 50. One thing that we didn't do though is we did not get our trim set. So we'll come over here to our aileron trim, and we will, our elevator trim rather, and come back over here to our performance and see it wants 0.0 down. So if we look over here, we are at 0.0 down. So 0.0 down, it's already all set for us. We don't need to adjust anything any further there. Alright, looking good. Flaps are set to 15 degrees on both sides. There goes our ramp worker. She's walking back. Should be showing us the flag, either that or she's already done so and we missed it. Yep, she's all done and ready to go, so we should be all set to taxi here, ladies and gentlemen. Any food service on this flight? We are serving whatever you'd like to eat, farmer. We have a plethora of variety. Alright. Let's get taxi underway. We will release our parking brake. Give ourselves a little engine power to boost the airplane along here. And there we are rolling. So we are just going to follow Taxiway Charlie just for a little bit here before taking a quick left-hand turn on to Foxtrot and then a right onto Bravo. Actually, we can take this turn right here. Go on the taxiway Bravo. We will follow Bravo all the way down. We have to taxi past runway 4 left and then make a left-hand turn onto Kilo and then a right onto Mike, and then our departure runway 9 will be right dead set in front of us. JetBlue, 8th Airbus right in front of us there. A couple of Spirit Airlines over there as well. Boston not looking too busy this morning. This snowstorm that we are getting right now is nowhere near as bad as they were originally predicting. So we only have probably about 1.5 inches of snow out there because it keeps going from snow over to rain, back over to snow. So luckily we didn't get too much accumulation, which I am perfectly fine with. Our TCAS, we'll go ahead and get that turned on now as well. Predictions are never 100% correct? Oh, yeah. No. Never. Especially if you live in New England, right? If you're from this part of the world, then believe me, we have been tricked many a times. Make this left-hand turn here. Cross runway 4 left, like we mentioned. And and we will be making a right-hand turn onto Mike up here after we cross the runway. Now this right-hand turn here immediately onto taxiway Mike. And then here is our departure runway right in front of us, right here now. Lovely. Get all nice and lined up there. There we are, lined up on runway 9. Hit the brakes a little bit to bring us to a stop. Go set our parking brake. We will head up over to the overhead really quickly, get our landing lights turned on, taxi lights can come to takeoff, strobes will come on as well, and we are pretty much good to go. Yanalor, what's going on? He says, good morning. Should it be quite early at your place, isn't it? It sure is. 9:41 a.m. for us here, local time. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are all set and ready to go. Simulator volume is going to come up for you guys to enjoy the A300 sounds. Yeah, here we go, folks. Parking brake is coming off. Toe brakes are getting full extension. Throttle's coming up to 40%. For those to even out at 40%. There we go. We are good to go. Releasing our toe brakes and pressing toga. Enjoy, everybody. Airspeed's alive. We're taking off with a 20-knot wind at our nose, 100 knots. V1. Rotate. Woo. Whoa. A little bit of a wind passing our wing around there, but positive rate gear coming up. Into the soup we go, ladies and gentlemen. We will be hand flying the airplane for a good amount of time here, seeming as we are flying into pretty rough clouds with a lot of wind. So we just want to make sure that we're not going to create an unpleasurable experience. Get our engines into climb mode now. 91% N1 dialed in on our engines. Still climbing like an absolute bat out of hell here. We will stay on course after departure. Good. We are going to push our nose forward a little bit to accelerate. Alright, looking good. We are going to get our flaps up. interesting takeoff it was. The wind kind of pushed us around a little bit there. We are going through some low-level turbulence at the moment. We are still hand-flying the airplane as we speak. We'll probably be hand-flying it just a little bit more. Let's go ahead and get the simulator sounds down just a little bit so you guys can hear me a little bit better now that we have departed. Just following our flight director here. Yeah, we are getting bumped around quite a bit. Quite a bit, not gonna lie. Still hand flying the airplane. Slats can come up now. Yeah, we are getting pushed around quite a little bit here, folks. A lot of turbulence above these clouds. There goes 10,000 feet. We can lower our nose down so we can begin to accelerate above 250 knots, which we have. Ooh, yeah, we are getting pushed around quite a good amount here, folks. Jose, what's going on? Welcome. Alright. I think that we are good and out of enough turbulence now to get the autopilot on, so autopilot is connected. We should begin to follow right on course here. Maybe not. Hello, airplane. Please follow nav. I guess you're not going to for whatever reason. So we will go direct to... Man, what was after? We'll go direct to Dedham. There we go. Now the airplane's going to start turning. Little bit of a bumpy start once we left Boston, but that's okay. Looks like we are above the storm clouds now, so it looks like the air is nice and smooth up here as we are about to surpass 14,000 feet. We were hand flying the airplane for quite a bit there, so I didn't really get a chance to come up here and get our landing lights turned off, like we no longer need them. Oops. Okay, there goes 15,000 feet, only on our way up to 16,000 for this flight. It seems like we could probably get away with going higher than that, but that's the altitude that SimBrief gave us, so we will see. Yep, already leveling off here at 16,000 feet after departing out of Boston. Only about a 26-minute flight time. You should turn on autopilot at 2,000 feet. Yep, well, because we were having such a bumpy takeoff there, And we were kind of going through a lot of turbulence. I was hand flying the airplane just to kind of make it as smooth of an experience as possible. Burner, what's going on, friend? Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Our nav is doing some pretty strange things right now. It wouldn't follow the track, so we had to give it a direct 2. So hopefully now it will kind of start to do everything it needs to on its own. But we've leveled off at our cruising altitude for this flight of only 16,000 feet. So if we come back over here into our McDo and we look at the progress page, as you can see, we only have 232 nautical miles to go until we arrive at LaGuardia. So pretty short and simple flight, not anything too crazy. The top of our descent will happen, you can see over here, there's our arrival, so we will fly right over the airport at about 4,000 feet, and then make a right-hand turn, and then continue on to a line for the runways. So should be a pretty easy arrival. Hopefully the weather there is still cooperating with us. If we come over here to our METAR data, LaGuardia right now is showing winds coming in from a direction of 10 degrees at 8 knots. Visibility is only 2 nautical miles. Broken clouds at 600. Overcast at 1200. So pretty similar weather to what we have here as far as the cloud cover is concerned. I'm surprised that airport can handle the A300. Thought it was for smaller airplanes like the 737. Oh, we gotta remember the A300 is a smaller wide body. If you let's say if you put an A300 and compared them on the ground right next to a 777, you will see a much larger airplane in the 777 than you would the A300. So that's why I think they were able to handle them. Unless my research was incorrect in regards to LaGuardia actually handling an A300. I did find someone on like airliners.net, their forums, that did say that he flew on an Eastern Airlines A300 shuttle between Boston and LaGuardia. So unless my research was off or that guy was full of nonsense, we should be pretty much real-world retro ops right here. But only cruising at 16,000 feet. We have a ground speed of 377 knots. As long as it can land and take off less than 7,000 feet, it can fit. What else will be interesting? Oh yeah, the airplane's very light as well, because we don't have a lot of fuel on board. I mean, we're pretty much at full passenger capacity, but we don't have a lot of fuel at all, which is bringing the maximum takeoff weight down by about 100,000 pounds away from max. So the airplane's light, so we should have a pretty low approach speed, probably only like 120 knots, 121 knots or so with full flap. So we should be able to get it right in. And our landing runway at LaGuardia is going to be runway 4. And if we take a look at our chart, runway 4 is 7,001 feet long. So it's perfect. So I don't think that we will have really a rough time getting into LaGuardia whatsoever. I think that we will be good to go. Time to go of only about 21 more minutes. I mean, if I needed to get to New York City for the day, I'd take this flight. If I had like a meeting in Manhattan or something like that back in the day and this was available, I would have taken this no problem. Just for an opportunity to get on an A300. I'm sure these flights now are operated with probably 737s or A320s or something similar, something smaller, probably maybe even CRJs, depending on what airline you're flying on. But United Eastern is defunct, and they've been out of business for a long time. Should still be raining in LaGuardia? I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. If we take a look at our weather here, according to LaGuardia right now, looks like there's no rain at the airport right now. Looks like some severe showers or snow has just cleared over the airport, and looks like just normal snow showers as we go along here. So nothing too severe, but we will have to see for sure. As we can see, look at already how close we are to our arrival destination. Less than 160 nautical miles to go already. We will start descending probably here at Nelly and kind of get down to about 10,000 feet. That's going to be the tricky part, is we are going to have to descend back into these clouds. And as you saw on our way out of Boston, it was very shaky in those clouds. The A300 was getting tossed around quite a bit. We had a 26 knot wind on our departure, which is why when the nose came up off the ground, the right wing dipped a little bit. That was my fault. I should have had left aileron pressure just a little bit to counteract that, and I didn't. I wish the weather system brought snow. Hands-on approach, oh yeah. So this will be interesting. I think we got it though. We might have to do a firm landing just to make sure we can plant the wheels on the ground in the right amount of time to stop, especially if the runway is wet and icy. I hope everybody is enjoying their Sunday so far. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, depending on where my viewers are located. It's only 9:58 a.m. local time for me. House chores, oh boy. "17 minutes to go, folks, already. But yeah, as far as this weather system's concerned, looks like if I look outside my window here, looks like we are changing over to rain, but it's only supposed to be rain for a short amount of time. It's going to change back to snow here shortly. flying in the Caribbean in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's one of my favorite places to fly all throughout the Caribbean. Keep an eye out for more streams that will be scheduled soon. I'll probably be throwing up a stream on most likely Wednesday or Tuesday. Not sure. But those streams will be later in the afternoon my time, so probably about 4:30 p.m. My local time here. So for my viewers overseas, it'll probably be very late at night for you. But I know Farmer always tends to pop in for a little while. Zoom in our ND just a little bit here. As it's taking a little bit of a weird turn right here and then turning to our right. So we need to be at 4,000 feet just over here when we pass over LaGuardia, because we will be flying directly over the airport at 4,000 feet and then coming in for our approach. So it should be pretty interesting. And remember, folks, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on this stream. We would all greatly appreciate that. $4 o'clock in Sweden, nice. So yeah, so you know, by the time I get on stream for you, it'll probably be close to midnight. And if you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We would all greatly appreciate that. Our next goal was 1,000 subscribers, everybody. 1,000. And once we hit 1,000, hopefully the PMDG 777 will be released and we'll be able to do a nice proper long haul. If not, we can do a long haul like domestically somewhere in the A300. Not even so much domestically, but overland. Maybe somewhere in Europe to where we can get an actual longer flight in the A300. But it's not too bumpy up here right now at 16,000 feet. 381 knots on the ground speed still. Our cost index for this flight was 100. So it's just rather interesting that SimBrief only gave us a cruising altitude of 16,000. I wonder what the cruising altitude is going to be on our way back to Boston. Maybe London to Dubai, it's about 6 hours. Yeah, exactly, something like that. Or if we wanted to do something here in the States, we can do a couple of longer flights from like MEX to JFK. That would be a longer one for us that we could do if we truly wanted to. Have to do a little bit more research on the routes. We'll start descending very shortly. You can see it's showing our TOD as being right here, and that's just not a lot of time to be able to get down. So we're probably going to ignore that. If you come over here and look at our charts, let's get ILS runway 4 pinned so we can take a look at exactly what we're going to be dealing with here. So we actually have to come down to 8,000 feet here by the time we get to Bays, or just after Valerie. So why don't we start heading down? It's about that time, so come down to 8,000 feet, and we'll get our speed down to 250 knots as well, seeming as we are going to need to get down that low anyway, and we will start a nice gradual descent of about 1,000 feet per minute just to start us off until we slow down just a tad bit more. But 1,000 feet per minute should do perfectly fine here for us. So descent has started, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, our speed is slowly starting to decrease. And back into the soup we go. Like I said, we might have to perform a firm landing. I'm sure that the runway is wet at LaGuardia, and we only have 7,000 feet versus 10,000, so we don't have much room for error on our arrival. I'm sure the ILS will be doing a lot of the work for us, just in case the visibility is really that poor. But we should be able to take over a manual approach. Manual landing, rather. So we won't be auto landing or riding the ILS all the way down. At least I don't think. But as you can see, it's already getting a little bumpy. We're kind of getting some shakes here as we start to enter back into the soup. Don't forget to hit record. I will not. We will not forget to hit the record for the replay. However, what happened yesterday is the record tool ended up crashing the airplane. Unless you're not going to? No, I will. I absolutely will. What ended up happening yesterday was we started the replay, we got 2 replay angles, and then we tried another one, and then it came up and said that we damaged our landing gear, so I have no idea what happened there. But down into the soup. We're about to pass below 10,000 feet here shortly, which means we need to get our landing lights on. Microsoft Flight Simulator's damage system is buggy. I agree. I've had a, I'll never forget. Excuse me. Off stream, I decided to give that Captain Sim 777 a go again, and it, you know, you get the FMC all set up and ready to go, and you get the whole airplane configured just like you normally would, and when I went to go spool up the engines for takeoff, I got, you damaged the aircraft's engine. And, you know, the screen pops up saying go back to main menu, and I'm like, really? I don't even know what I did. I know 777 engines can vibrate a lot. I forget what the technical term is for it. There is a term for what the GE90s and larger jet engines like that will do. I forget the technical term for it. There goes 10,000 feet, and we'll just go ahead and get our landing lights back on now that we are about to descend through. We are at 250 knots, which is perfect. There goes 10,000 feet. Lovely. About 11 minutes to go. We're making a nice big left-hand turn here. Remember, guys, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button for me. Would really greatly appreciate that. As well, if you are new here, your first time checking out the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. Turn on notifications so you never miss when we go live. Alright, here we go. Leveling off at 8,000 feet here. A little bit early than where we needed to be for our arrival, but that's okay. Foot, what's happening, man? Welcome to the stream. I am doing well. Doing well. Happy Sunday indeed. There we go, leveling off at 8,000. Leveling off basically almost into the thick of the soup. But the air doesn't seem to be too choppy. Oh, there we go. We're getting kind of shaken around a little bit now. You'll be here until you have to go? Alright, sounds good. Thank you for checking in and joining us. So you had a haircut? No worries. No need to apologize. I completely understand. Okay, perfect. So when we get to Harp, we need to be at 4,000. So once we complete this turn, we'll get 4,000 selected on our altitude selector, and then we will begin getting down to 4,000. So it'll probably be a little bit bumpy now as we start to really descend through this cloud layer. Weather currently in LaGuardia, we have a look. We're still showing winds have increased just a little bit to 11 knots. Broken clouds at 600, overcast at 12. 2 nautical miles of visibility, so a little bit foggy there, probably because of the weather, obviously. Alright, we've completed our turn, so now let's start heading on down to 4,000 feet. We'll choose about 800 feet per minute on the descent rate. That should be pretty okay for us. We should make it. We might have to go down a little bit farther to like 1,000 feet per minute or so. Maybe a little more than that, 1,200 or 1,300 feet per minute. There we go. 1,300 feet per minute should do perfectly well for us. But yep, now we're getting bumpy now, folks. I will say, though, that the weather system in Microsoft Flight Simulator has gotten a lot better. I will give it that. We'll slow the airplane down a little bit more, down to 230. A little bit of turbulence. Baker, what's happening? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Let's grab our altimeter, which is looking like it's going to be 2958. Wow, okay. Down to 2958 on the altimeter. There we go. Alright, so we will remain at 4,000 feet for quite a while now. We're going to be making quite a wicked right-hand turn here. You can see the wing flexing just a little bit because of the turbulence. Airplane is shuddering just a little bit. But no need to worry, folks. I will get us to our destination with no issues whatsoever. Next waypoint here should be Carly. I don't think we need Vader, do we? Yes, we do need Vader. Okay. Oh, this is going to be interesting. This should be very interesting indeed. But you guys trust your pilot, right? 4 mins? Yep, we are very close. Very, very close. Absolutely, you got this? Yes, thank you, Mama. And thank you, Farmer. We will get this airplane on the ground. Like I said, it's probably going to have to be a little bit of a firm landing. We will plan for that, just so we can get the airplane stopped. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of a clearing here. The air should be maybe a little bit smoother now that we're not right in the clouds. But, yes, this is bumpy. Bumpy for sure. But LaGuardia is right in front of us. We're going to be flying right over it, right over the airport. Wonder if we'll be able to see the city at all with all these clouds. Probably not. Yesterday, I went on your stream. You were taking off, then I had to go. Then I came back and you were landing. The timing, I know, it's perfect. You made it for the best parts of the streams. After Jackie, though, we were supposed to be heading to Nicole, and I don't see Nicole. Oh yeah, there's Nicole. It's right there. Huh. Okay. So once we complete this right-hand turn here, we will begin slowing the airplane down some more to about 200 knots, I believe was what the constraint is. Yeah, 200 knots. So we'll slow the airplane down even more. Probably have to throw out the slats at that point. Is this the first leg? Yes, it is. We are doing the return trip back to Boston afterward. You can see the runways right in front of us. You can see the runway lights just a little bit right there as we fly directly over the airport in the clouds here. Cross our fingers that we don't really have too many issues here on our way in. I really don't think we're going to have much of a challenge here. getting the airplane in, I think that we will do just fine. Minus 94? We'll see. Like I said, I'm not exactly going to try to butter this one, just because the length of the runway that we have isn't exactly the largest. So we kind of have to play it safe. Perfect weather for flying. Okay, so what's going on? Yeah, the weather is something. But I fly real world weather everywhere I go. I don't tamper with that at all. There is quite a big storm system moving across the northeast right now, so this will be the same exact weather that we should be expecting heading into Boston for the return leg. Minus 320 for this landing. Man, I hope I do a little bit better than that. I once flew from Dublin to Jersey, and the weather was so bad the runway wasn't visible until 50 feet. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to be having exactly that low of visibility. I think that we will end up being okay, and we'll have plenty of sight of the runway at 1,000 feet before we actually touch down, but we'll let the ILS, we'll take the ILS down as far as we have to. Speaking of which, let's prepare for our arrival. The localizer frequency is going to be 110.5 and an approach course of 44 degrees. And our decision height is 283 feet. So hopefully we can see the runway by the time we reach 283 feet. We'll get that entered in here, and we will get... Oops. 283, so we'll just go 285. There we go. But we got this, folks. We got this all day long. Ooh, a little choppy there. Go, making a big left-hand turn here. Now is where we need to slow the airplane down to 200 knots. And we can stay at 4,000 feet for now. I want Kevin De Bruyne to score. I do not know who that is, but I imagine that is a football player. European football. There we go, there's 200 knots. We'll bring out the slats now, just to help the airplane fly a little bit slower for us, so we can have less of an angle of attack. Perfect weather, yeah. Perfect weather to practice our skills, that's for sure. Minus 108. Okay. Might go on Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's a good day for it. As you can tell. School starts tomorrow. Yep, work starts tomorrow for me again too, so I completely understand that. Alright, we are almost about to turn left up here very shortly and then turn on to final. A very long final, about 15, it should be a 15-mile final. But we will stay in the clouds here at 4,000 feet for just a little bit while longer. And yeah, we'll see. See exactly what we get. I know it's not exactly the best views that we're getting out of the simulator today just because of all the clouds and everything, but I don't know, I always love to fly real world weather. It's how you get better as a pilot, even virtually, you know, putting yourself in these situations. I mean, that's the beauty of having a simulator, is you don't have to worry about any innocent people that you may put in danger for poor piloting decisions. Although I don't think I always make bad piloting decisions. Although the wind is a lot more calm here coming into LaGuardia. Only about 11 knots is probably what we can be expecting, where we were gusting at 30 knots when we left Boston. So the winds in Boston were a lot more whipping than they are here descending towards LaGuardia. There we go, in my neck of the woods it's starting to snow again. The snowflakes are massive outside my window right now. There we go, starting our left-hand turn. Now that we're doing that, we're going to come over here and switch that over to ILS and turn landing mode on. So as we follow our nav track, it'll bring us right across the perfect spot to grab the localizer. I went into an F-15 or whatever the number is, and I made this person go around 4 times because I was landing on the runway. I followed him for his whole flight. Oh, jeez. See, I just would have plowed right through you and kept going. We'll also slow the airplane down to 190 knots as well. And we are established on the localizer, ladies and gentlemen. He managed to land because he tricked me and said ATC going around, so I went around, but then he landed. Alright, perfect. Here we are set up with our 15-mile final. Oh, it's a 20-mile final. Wow, okay. So we still got a little bit of a distance to go. We need to be down to 3,000 feet, so let's go ahead and start that. Your feet per minute will determine how much I need to donate to charity. Well, okay. Bring the speed down to 180. We'll bring flaps down to 15 degrees. A300 is such a good plane. Will it be on Xbox? You know, I'm not really sure. To be completely honest with you. Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. A310 is good, to be honest, yeah, and the A300 is extremely similar to the A310. So there's a 10-mile final. We are a little fast. What's the difference? The A300 is larger. A300 is a much larger airplane. Boy, I can't see a thing. Go ahead and get flaps 20. Get us down to 160 on the speed. Might need to go around. No, I don't think so. Here's a 5-mile final right there. We will drop the gear. Gear coming down. Oops, we don't need that. Bring our speed down just a little bit more. Auto brake. We set that to medium. Our spoilers are extended for some reason. Set our RMR speed brakes, and then our approach speed is 131, so we can go ahead and get that all dialed in. And for some reason the airplane isn't following the descent path. So now we are extremely high. So yeah, this might end up being a go around now that you say it, because we should be able to see the runway by now. And the airplane didn't start descending on its own. We are only 2.5 miles out from the runway, and there it is. Yeah, we are very high. So we might be able to save it, but if not, we may have to enter a go around here, but I think that we can save it. We should be able to save this with no issue. We were a little bit off center line as I disconnected the autopilot, but no issue there. Replay tool, we did not start it, but we'll start it now. There it is. Okay. Still a little bit high, but that's no issue. We can correct that. Minimums, we will continue. There we go. We are doing all right now. Too low flaps. Oh, we never put our last setting of flap out. I thought we did. I thought we went flaps full. The airplane is all over the place. Unstable approach. Ooh, boy. Yeah, we're too fast, folks. This is going to be a go-around. Sorry. That's a go-around. We could not see what we were doing at all. Gear's gonna come up. Yes, we know. The landing gear's not down. Thank you. Better safe than dead? Exactly. Well, for some reason, the airplane didn't establish itself on the glide scope. We didn't start descending on our own. So I'm not sure what the deal with that was. So we will get ourselves in the go-around pattern here. That was very interesting. The airplane just did not do what it was supposed to do there on that arrival. We were established on the localizer, but for some reason we didn't hook on like we should have. So we'll go back up to 4,000 feet. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But we were way too high, and the airplane didn't do what it was supposed to do. And I can't exactly find out why. And we didn't put our flaps down all the way. That is something that we forgot, so that is on us. Let's see what our go-around plan is here. So that was our fault, folks. So we are entering in our own go-around pattern here. Still flying the airplane manually. So let's get back underneath control of the autopilot here. We'll bring our speed up to 200 knots. There's 4,000 feet. We are all over the place on this one. Auto throttle coming on for 200 knots, and then we will request 4,000 for the autopilot. Get the autopilot on there for us. Plane, why are you turning? You shouldn't be turning. Get heading select on. Okay. Whoa. So we are at 4,000 feet, 200 knots. We're going to give that another go. Bear with me a moment here. We need to vector ourselves. Let's get to heading 317. And we will give that another go. Actually, we'll go heading 276. Ooh, that one was scary. So, the airplane didn't follow the descent path. We have our diamond right here, but the airplane didn't start following it on its own. Now, I don't know if that's something that I did wrong. I mean, I really don't know. Alright, so we'll fly heading 317 for a little while here, and then we will fly a heading of 218 afterwards to get lined back up with the ILS approach. That approach was just way too all over the place. I had to start manually descending the airplane again from the autopilot because we just weren't going down on our own, and we have ILS mode initiated here, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. But obviously we didn't do something right. If anybody has any ideas in the chat, please let me know. But like we said, better to be safe than sorry and just go around and give it another try, rather than trying to force the airplane onto the ground like we were just trying to do there. So let's give this another go. Go-arounds are all too common. Go-arounds are very common in the real world, so it's no issue at all. Alright, let's turn to runway heading heading 218. Just vectoring ourselves using the charts. There we go. So we'll follow this for about another 30 nautical miles or so before we give it another go. Like I said, I have no idea what I did wrong. This is the first time we've had that problem with the A300. This may be more of a visual approach if we don't... we were established on a localizer, but we didn't follow the glide path, which was extremely weird. Imagine another go-around? I hope not. Really hope not. Remember, everybody, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on this stream. We'd really greatly appreciate that. If you are new here, please also consider becoming a subscriber. We would also appreciate that as well. If If you want to see more glorious go-arounds like we just had, hitting that subscribe button will enable you to do that and see all of our lovely streams that we have scheduled coming up in the future. But yeah, better be safe than dead, as Farmer mentioned. We are trying to land into LaGuardia in very soupy weather, and the visibility is absolutely no good. Just to make sure, if I look down here, 110.5. Yep, that is what we have, 044 degrees. I am not sure what we did wrong, but something wasn't right. And our approach angle is 3.2 degrees, which is standard. So, like I said, not sure what went wrong there, but giving it another go. Like I said, we may end up having to plant this one pretty firm based on that first attempt. What'd you guys think of that? That was pretty scary. Pretty scary of a go-around, completely unstable approach. We were doing fine. I had saved it, and then we got that a warning that we didn't put our flaps to full. We weren't in landing configuration, so that was completely on me, 1000%. We picked a heck of a day to be flying into LaGuardia, didn't we? This isn't the worst weather we've ever landed in. However, the worst weather that we've landed in, the ILS, acted the way that it was supposed to. Alright, we're going to keep this track for about another 10 miles or so, and then we are going to make a left-hand turn of 128, and then throw landing mode on again, make sure ILS is on again, and then hopefully we will get reestablished on the localizer. And if for some reason we aren't descending on our own like we should, I will just manually descend the airplane to the waypoints that we need to be at, and start slowing the airplane down a little bit more as well, just so we can kind of have a little bit of extra wiggle room with this arrival. Oh no, what happened? No, why'd that do that? Come on. Man. Replay tool, guys. Replay tool just kind of screwed us up a little bit. It got rid of our information here, so that sucks. Is this your last flight or are you flying back? We are flying back, my friend. Yeah, the replay tool can be very tricky. And, don't want to mess with the replay tool too much. Why is our autopilot off now? What in the freak is going on? We have 10,000 selected all of a sudden? Something's not right here. Our speed is set to 100. That replay tool really screwed us up. Not going to lie, but we can start our turn to 128 now. Zero 44. Landing lights are all still on. There we go. 044. We are heading over now to 128 on the heading. And that'll get us on the perfect intercept heading to hopefully grab onto the runway. And now is where we need to get down to 3,000 feet. So we will just request 3,000. Alright, turn landing mode on again. We have ILS mode selected. We have 110.5. I mean, all of that is looking perfectly fine. It looks like it reset our entire computer on us. So that's not cool. Got to get our decision height entered again, 283, so we'll take 280. Not sure why that completely reset everything on us, but it's okay. We will give this another go. So you can see localizer is on too. Am I using Microsoft Flight Simulator replay tool? No, I'm using SkyDolly. I'm not using the built-in replay. Alright. So let's hope that we capture the ILS again here, and hopefully the airplane will do what it's supposed to do. We will keep a much closer eye on it though. There it is. There's the localizer. We are at 3,000 feet, which is exactly where we need to be, and hopefully the airplane will start descending on its own, so we will definitely keep a much closer eye on that. Go. Perfect. Just in case we do need to tell the airplane to go down, we're going to be going down to 1,700, so we need to make sure that we are ready to populate that. And now that we also have a little bit of room here to stay at 3,000, we are also going to lower the speed again down to 180, and we'll bring the flaps down to 15. My rudder, for some reason, always wants to go a little to the left when the plane starts moving. Do you know why that might be? Are you using rudder pedals? Are you using a joystick for your rudder inputs? What are you using? Joystick rudder access. You know, it might be you might have to calibrate your joystick. I would start first with that. Calibrate your joystick and then maybe even set the dead zone a little bit. If you mess with the dead zone, you may be able to negate that. But I would start by calibrating the joystick first. Okay. So now we need to get down to 17,000 is going to be the next. I mean 1,700. So we'll choose 1,700, and I'm thinking that we are going to have to request this descent on our own. You'll try that? Yeah, good. Let me know how it goes. We'll also get down to 160 on the speed. Maybe we'll throw flaps 20. Alright, now we will start heading down to... Start heading down to 1,700 feet, which is where we need to be next. Hey, look at that, the ground. Replay tool. Restart that. Restart the recording. There we go. Alright, we might be able to actually see the runway as we get closer here. The next, we have to go down to 640 feet. So once we level off here at 1,700, there we go. We'll just keep on going down to 600 feet. And just request that we take it down ourselves. So we are also going to go gear down. So we are about 5 miles out from the runway. And then go flaps full. And request our approach speed, which I think was 131. All right. No sight of the runway just yet. It looks like the chart is off from what the ILS is capturing here, because you can still see we're a little bit high. I believe I see the runway in sight. Yep, there it is right in front of us. Doesn't get any more clear as day as that. Butter this, I'm going to try my hardest. Oof. Alright, we are doing damn near perfect. We're going to take over control of the airplane now, and let's get this in, folks. Disconnecting the auto throttle as well. Let's see how we do. You're a little bit misaligned here. We are doing great otherwise. Oh boy, a little bit of a wind shake there. Forced our nose down a little bit, but we are doing good. Whoa, a little bit off the center line there, but that's okay. Oof. All right. Shaky arrival, but God, we got it. Nice landing, thank you. Could have been better, but given the weather, we'll take it. We will take it. Can we even turn over here? Oh, we're going to. Whew. My goodness. Well, we'll take it given the weather. Windy, but you did it? Yeah. All right. LaGuardia, folks. Let's get taxied up here. Flaps coming clean. Speed brakes stowed. Get up here, get our landing lights off. Get our taxi lights on. APU master start switch will come on. We'll start the APU. Alright, let's get to a gate here, and then we'll have a look at the replay. Nice landing. I was landing myself at Port Royal. Weather is nice here. Well, lucky you. We floated a little bit, but we were not about to do another go around. Keep losing my signal. If you've been seeing my messages, I might be behind. Yep, I'm seeing your messages. Now, I have no idea where an appropriate gate would be over here for us to pull up to, so we are just going to choose any random gate that we want over here. Let's hope for a better landing on the return leg to Boston. We are going to turn right here and just choose one of these gates over here. They may not be the appropriate size for the A300, and technically we're not supposed to be turning here, but oh well. We'll just take the last one on the left there. Love how there's no taxi lines or anything over here, even at this default airport, for us to be able to park our airplane more accurately, but that's okay. So we will just pretend like we are parking nice and straight. Alright, that should be good. Holy guacamole, folks, that was intense. An intense arrival, but we made it. Let's go ahead and see if the replay tool will cooperate with us. Let's hit play and see what happens. Alright, this is going to be our first view. There's the city. We can barely make out the city right there on our left with all of this poor visibility. There we go. Enjoy this first view. right. We'll go ahead and get a view from over here as well. We'll back it up just a little bit. Took up damn near the whole runway, but that's okay. We can go outside now. We will get an angle from here. He said I didn't really have a choice at the end there but to plant her onto the runway. We kind of had to go along with that. Because we were a little bit high. We floated a little bit and had to correct her. Yes. Alright, and then we will get one last view on the inside, folks, from the nose, and then we will completely restart the sim. Let's see if we are actually able to get our wipers on here. There we go. I mean, that kind of looks like crap, but... Alright, this is going to be the last replay view of this landing here, folks, with this first leg. Once this replay view is completed, I will go on ahead and put us into Be Right Back, and you'll see the Be Right Back music. So everybody enjoy this final view, and then I'll be right back with you. Alright folks, we are back. Sorry about that. A couple of things went awry. Hold on, let me turn this down a little bit here outside, because I'm sure that APU is loud as all get out. Yeah, we had a little bit of an issue when we restarted the simulator. I got the graphics card issue. Maximos the Gamer says, what GPU do I have? I have a 3070 Ti. That is what we have for a GPU. Bear with me a second. I do have to refresh FlyLiveStudio because we lost our FlyLive. So hold on a minute. I just need to enter all of that information in again for our route. Okay. Perfect, there we go. That should be all set now. FlyLive should be showing appropriately. Can you use the frame jam with a GTX card? No, I think it's only an RTX, a 20 series or a 30 series. Unless somebody else has released some type of update that makes it work with an with a GTX card, but as far as I know, it's only for an RTX series, 20 series or higher. But yeah, we are back at LaGuardia, everybody. After that rocky arrival in with low visibility, we had to do a go-around. We were back at the ramp here. The airplane is currently in turnaround mode with the APU running, so we have to get inside the flight deck here and just simply do a few things. We can go ahead and turn up the volume again, just so you guys can hear the flight deck nicely. We're going to head up to the overhead panel. You can see APU bleed is already on. Fuel pumps are already on. Pretty much everything is already all set to go. The IRSs are already, or the ADERs rather, are already in align mode. So we have to come down here to the McDo and do a few things, which means aligning the IRS. Hey, Maximos the Gamer coming in with a subscription. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really, really greatly appreciate you. Welcome aboard. Alright, we'll come over here to our fly pad here. We will import from SimBrief. You see we have LaGuardia and Boston Logan. That's our next leg. We take a look here at our visibility out of LaGuardia. It looks like 3 nautical miles or so. Looks like winds 360, direct north at 9 knots, which is fine. Broken clouds at 600, overcast at 1,000. Yep, it's the same weather we just flew into. Going back over to Boston, we have winds at 050, 25 knots, gusting at 29, 2.5 mile visibility. Broken clouds at 900, overcast at 1,200. So hopefully we will have a better luck this time around with our ILS, just because the lovely A300 did not follow the glide path on its own on our arrival into LaGuardia, so we kind of had to do our own thing there for a little while, but shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully we will get in with no issues. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go LaGuardia, which is Kilo Lima Golf Alpha / Kilo Bravo Oscar Sierra for Boston. We'll enter that in. Our alternate is actually going to be JFK. So that's interesting. So just in case we do need to enable our alternate, we'll just be flying back the other direction and landing back at JFK. We will be aligning our IRS there, the average cruise wind. Let's get our OFP up so we can see that. 251 degrees is the direction at 51 knots. Get that entered in for us. Our cost index on this route is going to be 21. Our cruising altitude is going to be 250. So getting up a little bit higher than we were before. We only had 16,000 for a cruising altitude on our way to LaGuardia. And of course our flight number is Eastern Airlines 265. Autopilot sometimes gets weird after a go-around. Yeah, I mean, it was even acting weird before we even went around. It didn't establish on the localizer our glide path, and I didn't realize it, and it kind of threw us off a little bit. But we were able to fix it and get down safely, which I'm happy with. We'll update our weight and balance from SimBrief. 256 passengers on the way back to Boston, we will apply the load to the airplane, and we will request that fueling be finished right away too. So it looks like our block fuel we're taking along with us is going to be 24.46. So we'll go 24.46 in for the block fuel. Our zero fuel weight is looking like it is going to be 252.56. There we go, excellent. And then our zero fuel weight center of gravity is looking like it is going to be 28.36. There we go, good. We have all of that entered in. This is going to do its fuel planning and trip time and everything like that. So that is all set and ready to go. We'll come over here to our flight plan. We will choose LaGuardia and choose our SID to get on out of here. It looks like we are departing runway 31 out of LaGuardia, and this is a direct departure. So that's interesting. So it's going to be runway 31. So we have all of that selected. We will insert that. From runway 31, we are going direct to Merritt. Oops. Direct to Merritt, and then from there, it's direct into our arrival into Boston. So let's come over here. We'll choose our star, which is going to be the Roebuck 3. So first off, let's choose our arrival runway, which is going to be 4 right. So we don't even have an ILS approach for 4 right. Oh, no, we do. It's right here. Whew, thank goodness. I was going to say that's going to make things a little bit difficult. And we're using the Roebuck 3, which is right here. And Merritt is going to be our transition, which we already entered in before, which I guess we didn't need to. But yeah, that's it. A very simple flight plan. So nothing too crazy there. The IRS is still aligning, so we do need to wait a few minutes there for everything to finish. We got about 3 minutes until the ILS finishes aligning, so we can kind of just hang out here for a moment while we wait for our screens to come alive. Once they come alive, we'll be good to go to continue along. I hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic Sunday. Thank you all for tuning in, as always. Sorry if I made anybody need to change their pants due to our arrival into LaGuardia, but it wasn't really that bad. There's been a lot worse. There we go. There's our screen popping up there, our artificial horizon. So we are ready to continue on along here. Next thing we need to do is actually come up over here and get our trims all set and ready to go. Our nav and logo lights also aren't on, which I kind of find annoying because they should be. You would think if you chose the preset in the A300 of running APU that the nav and logos would already be on, but they aren't. That's okay, no big deal. We got them turned on now. So let's head on down here and get our performance all set up. So we'll come over here. We will choose runway 31 for departure, which is just about 7,000 feet. So not a lot of runway to get this big A300 out of there, but we will make it work. I am sure we will have no issues. Come on, sync. There we go. That is all synced for us. We'll calculate. Looking good. Flex 2 temp is going to be 63. So we will come over here, select our Flex 2 temp to 63. Groovy. That's all entered in. And then it looks like our V1 is 154, our rotate is 163, and our V2 is 163. So let's go ahead and go 154. 163. And then we will set 163 up here as well. 163 is looking good. Now we can get our cruising altitude entered in, which was 250. Excellent. Our runway heading out of runway 31. If we grab a look here. Runway 31's runway heading is 314. Excellent. Everything is looking good there. And now we can check out our flight plan, so we'll move that over to plan. Switch this back over here. Now let's just simply cycle through all of our waypoints here, just to make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary, out of the whack. My potato PC crashes Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm sorry about that, man. I would suggest upgrading your graphics card just a little bit. I know it's kind of hard to do that, you know, sometimes, given that everything costs so much money lately. But yeah, it looks like that we should have a nice arrival. Where's that discontinuity coming from? It's got to be this manual here. So I'm thinking if we delete out that manual and then delete out discontinuity, there we go. Right on track, directly to the runway. So that's looking good. I am happy with that. Alright, we need to set our altimeters very quickly before we blast off out of here as well. Head back over to our EFB and take a look at our METAR. Altimeter is looking like it is going to be 2958. 2958, and we will do the same over here on our backup altimeter. 2958. Here we go, perfect. Alright, I don't really think that we are missing anything else here, folks. Let's just pop up to the overhead panel and just make sure that we're not missing anything. We can get this over here to position to make sure it's displaying properly, which it is. Alright, I mean, I think that we are pretty much all set to go. We get our PTUs and electronic hydraulic pumps on. Khaled, what's going on? He goes, hello, how are you? And I wanted to ask, do you have the frame gen mod on the title? Why do I have the frame gen mod on the title? It's because I am using the frame gen mod, my friend. And it is excellent. If you are on PC and you have an RTX series card, I would highly suggest using the frame gen mod because it is absolutely fantastic. We get great FPS. Everything looks great with it. You know, it's not sure exactly how it works, but it uses something with your processor and inserts an extra frame or something like that to get it to look nice and smooth. That's about as much as I know about it. So I think we are ready to go ahead and push back here. We'll go to GSX and prepare for pushback and departure. No, we're not going to request de-icing treatment. We don't need it. Does it ruin the quality of the game? It does not. Not at all.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for
At least not for me. We are going to be pushing back out and to the right, and then it's pretty much a straightforward taxi to runway 31. We are right next to the runway here, so it should be a nice easy taxi for us to rocket ship on out of here and hopefully get to hopefully get to Boston without any issues. It's saying that the weather is looking pretty windy and pretty gusty, so I am a little bit nervous, but you know, that is what it is. We should be fine. Let's check up top. Let's just make sure all of our fuel pumps are on, which they are. Alright, good. Everything is looking fine. Yeah, we're ready to go. We are ready to go. Just gotta wait for them to tell us that we are going to be pushing back, and then we'll get our engines turning and burning. We'll make our final leg back to Boston. It's going to be to the right.
Release parking brakes, please.
Releasing our parking brakes, we'll go ahead and release those. There they go. Commencing push due to icing conditions. We know we don't want our strobes on. We want our beacons on now because we are going to be starting up. Ignition is coming over to A, and we are good to go. So we'll go ahead and turn number 2. You can see N2 rotation is coming to life here. N1 is following along behind it. We'll go ahead and crank the simulator sounds as well so you guys can hear. Oil pressure is starting to slowly rise as well. At 20% N2, we will get fuel introduced. There it is. I really hope that they release an update soon that will make the engine sounds louder, because you can barely hear them back here. They did update the engine sounds in the flight deck on departure, because those are much louder, but I kind of feel like back here they aren't as loud as they actually could be. So who knows, maybe iniBuilds will release another update. We'll set the parking brake for
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Alright, looking good. We can head back into the flight deck here and turn number 1. Start valve is open. Let's have a look. N2 is rising. N1 is starting to rise as well. Oil pressure should be starting to slowly build, which it is. 20% N2. We will throw in some fuel. Head on over to the wing. It's louder on the left side. There we go. There's 20%. On the left side, you'll hear the engine come up.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
There we go. Sounds like we have a good start of engine number 1. Let's pop back inside the flight deck here and just make sure that we don't have a hot start or anything. Nothing's looking strange. Oil pressure is building up to a safe level. There we go. Engine generator number 1 has just connected. We'll come up over here, get ignition into off. We will also get our APU master start switch off and our APU bleed off. We no longer need that. We will get our taxi lights on. We will get flaps to 15 degrees. We'll come back here and watch that. Have a good trip. We just got the okay to start our taxi from GSX, so we are pretty much all set to go here, folks. You see it's raining now quite a little bit. It's not snowing, it is raining now here in Boston. So let's release our parking brake. Release our parking brake and give ourselves a little bit of throttle here. Get the airplane moving. There she goes, alright, underway. We're going to taxi straight ahead here, and we are going to make a right-hand turn onto taxiway Alpha, and then a left-hand turn onto Mike, and then a right-hand turn onto Bronco. 4070 Super coming, yes. I do want to upgrade my GPU eventually, but that does cost a good amount of pennies, as I'm sure we are all aware. It's just a little pricey. So actually, you know what? We're not taxiing where we just originally said we were going to. We're going to make this right-hand turn onto Alpha here. We're going to follow Alpha all the way down until we can make a left-hand turn onto Zulu at the end of Alpha. $600, yeah. And you know what? They're probably going to fly off the shelves as soon as they come out. No one's going to be able to get them. And people are going to be reselling them for $1,200. I have no idea what GPU I'm going to want to upgrade to in the future. I have 32 gigs of RAM. I think I might upgrade that to 64. I also have to take my computer to get looked at because the all-in-one cooler is starting to make some sounds that I'm not really liking. So Gonna have to take a look into getting that maybe replaced or repaired. Not sure just yet. We're going to make this last turn up here onto taxiway Zulu, and then runway 31 will be right in front of us. And we'll make a left-hand turn onto the runway. Here's taxiway Zulu. Kind of running out. Oop, there it goes. General options, and then usually with that is we hit apply and save, and there we go. That fixed the problem. Chugging along. Just a lot going on in the sim right now, being in LaGuardia and all the rain. It shows it. Holy. Lights can come on. Strobes, we'll get those on as well. Let's actually turn down the simulator volume just oh, 13 frames per second. There we go. Now it's boosted up again to 25. 41. Alright, well, we'll see how this treats us, folks. We are all ready to go. Flaps are set. Landing lights, we just got. The simulator is running a bit choppy, so we'll see how it treats us here. So, toe brakes fully extended. Engine power up to 40%. Alright, there we go. Releasing the toe brakes. Airspeed's alive. $80 knots. 100 knots. V1. Rotate. God, what is going on with the simulator right now? It's just getting so choppy. All right. There we go. There's climb power. And here. Alright, there's acceleration altitude. We will lower the nose. Go about a degrees of a pit. Or is the stream smooth? Because the simulator is having a little bit of a hard time. We keep getting major stutter. Profile. Get the autopilot on. DOD, what's happening? Welcome. How goes it today? Ooh, the weather that we are flying in could be a lot better. But it seems like the... Hold on, let me get the simulator. You can see it's being... with that, but as you can see, she's being very stuttery. I think it's you, internet, the stream stutter sometimes to work the sound. No, actually, no, not really. Not nowhere near as much as they were originally telling us we were going to get. Which we are very grateful for. But alright, everything seems to be going well now with the stutters. We're not really... And it seems to be coming in waves. It's not like they're not consistent stutters, you know? It's like everything is doing well and then it stutters and then it goes back to doing well. I am not sure what the deal is with that at all. At all. You can do this, and this may help out a little bit. Your PC's having a panic attack? I have no idea. Yeah, something's going on with let me just on. CPU is only being used at 32%. We're only using 61% of our memory. Very interesting. We'll see if that works. Sometimes going and messing with your settings a little bit can fix. Yeah, I think it might be Streamlabs causing the problem right now. I'm not entirely sure. But we're going to hang in here and see if it improves at all. Because it's acting very weird. And we didn't have any of these issues yesterday. So maybe it's just kind of loading into a busy airport over there, and maybe that's what the deal was. I don't know, but everything seems to be... Oh god, we have this issue now. Hang on, we need to fix this again. General options. This is the only thing with the frame gen mod stutters, but usually the way to fix it is just go in and adjust your frame level of detail a little bit. It should be... Oh wait. Something's being very weird. I don't know if it's the computer, I don't know if it's the simulator, I don't know exactly what it is, but we didn't have any issues on our first leg at all, and now all of a sudden we are having tons of issues. And I hate to restart the stream completely. Just stutter city all over the sim and all over Streamlabs. So I'm not sure what the... Yeah, we're not liking this. Look at it. Ugh, Lord. I think it might have... I think it's Streamlabs, to be completely honest with you. Because whenever this starts happening and I look over at Streamlabs, none of my audio... Everything is still moving on the screen. Like when my audio cuts in and out, you can see me perfectly fine. You know, nothing's really glitching out over there, so I have no idea what the issue could be. We haven't had these issues in a long time when it comes to Streamlabs. PC may need a reboot. Oh, don't say that. I don't have the patience for that. I just kind of hope it sorts itself out here. But, yeah, we are now have to put ourselves into standard mode here, and oh, look at this, man. Jesus, good lord. These are just, I think this is a bug with the frame gen mod. And usually to fix it, all you have to do is go into your graphics settings and adjust the level of detail sliders a little bit, and it takes care of the problem. But now the stream is running okay. Streamlabs doesn't seem to be bugging out at all, but now we have this horrible stuttery view problem again. And let's see if we come into here. What the deal is, but whenever I exit, and I think what the deal is whenever I click into Streamlabs, Streamlabs just gets very glitchy. And as soon as I click into Streamlabs, the simulator gets glitchy too. And as soon as I click back into the simulator, Streamlabs Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is here, folks. It seems like whenever I click out of Streamlabs and go back into the simulator, you guys can't hear me. But if I go on my other screen and click into Streamlabs, you guys can. Yep, there it goes. Oh, we have our voice back a little bit now. Still persisting. Something's going on here. Something is definitely not right, because if I click into Streamlabs, you guys can hear me perfectly fine. But when I click into the simulator is when it goes kaput. Ready? Now clicking into the simulator. Not a thing. And then it comes back for a little bit. And then eventually it'll kind of bug out again. Not really looking forward to having to reboot my PC right now. We've had this problem with Streamlabs before, but it seems to be doing okay now, but we're not going to be able to land the airplane like that. Not like this. And as soon as I click in, watch, now that I'm clicked into the simulator, everything is going fine. But as soon as I hit escape to go into the menu, you guys are going to lose my voice. Ready? And actually, no, you guys. Huh. All right. All right, now it's back. You see, it takes a few seconds, and then it comes back, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, folks. I couldn't tell you. That fixes the issue for the, yeah, it's, and now we're back to this. Yeah, this stuttery mess, so something's not right here, folks. I'm not sure what's going on with my PC. Something might be being a little bit weird. If I check my temperatures out, let me try closing some things here. Let me try closing Volanta. Let me try closing out a little bit. Labs. Definitely coming from Streamlabs. But we can't go along like this. This is just going to be a broken mess. Microsoft Flight Simulator on Windows 98, that's what it looks like, right? And then I am going to restart it and see if that fixes the issue. So give me just a few moments. I'm going to end the stream.